Hello, beautiful ladies. It's Brunilda here. And today I want to talk about something very personal, something that completely shifts how we live, love, and move through this world after 50. I want to talk about finding my voice, finding your voice. Not the voice everyone else wanted to hear, not the voice that kept the peace or that made others comfortable, but your voice, the one that honors who you are today. You see, after 50, something changes. Life slows down just enough for you to start hearing yourself again. The noise of expectations, responsibilities, and the shoulds start to fade. And in that stillness, we all start to realize that we've lost touch with our own voices. Today, we're going to talk about a few things. The first one is going to be setting boundaries. For most of our lives, we were givers. We said yes when we should have said no. We kept quiet to avoid conflict. We let people's needs come before our own, whether it was family, friends, or work. But one day, I think we all wake up and we realize being everything for everyone else is costing us. Costing you, costing me. That's when we need to start learning to set boundaries. Boundaries aren't walls, they're fences with gates that keep you safe while allowing connection. I started small, saying, I can't do that today, or I need a little time to think about that. At first, it felt selfish, but when I realized it wasn't, I realized it was actually self-respect. Every time I honored a boundary, I heard my voice get a little stronger. The other thing is respecting myself and leaning into self-care. Once I began setting boundaries, something magical followed. And what that was respect, not just from others, but from myself. I began listening to my body. If I was tired, I rested. If I needed quiet, I created space for that. I started seeing self-care not as a luxury, but as a responsibility to myself. My morning walks became sacred. My skincare routine became a form of gratitude. My quiet time with a cup of tea or coffee, that became my therapy. The more I respected myself, the more others learned how to treat me, because people mirror how you treat yourself. The other thing I started to focus on is my health. Turning 50 reminded me that my health is my wealth. I couldn't help anybody if my cup was empty. So I made small changes. I started moving my body every day, started drinking more water, eating foods that made me feel alive. It's not about perfection. It's about presence, feeling strong, flexible, and at peace with this body. And that's freedom. That's freedom to me. The other thing I did was just getting comfortable in my own skin. Our body changes as we age. And let's talk about this one a little bit more. Just as women, we go through so many physical and emotional changes, especially after 50. But I had to stop fighting those changes and start embracing those changes. My stretch marks tell my story. My hair loss tells a story. My wrinkles hold my laughter. My body may not look like it did when I was in my 20s, but it carries wisdom, it carries experience, and it carries the amazing beauty that comes with age that no one can take away from me. Being comfortable in my skin meant showing up as me without apology. In the previous video, we talked about sitting with ourselves. And at this stage of life, I'm learning to sit with myself. This was one of the hardest things to do, just learning how to sit with myself. No distraction, no noise, just me. At first, the silence was extremely uncomfortable, but over time, I began to realize silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. I started journaling, meditating, taking walks without my phone. I love to be without my phone. And slowly, I started hearing the woman I've been ignoring for years. The one inside me who just wanted to be heard, to be seen, to be loved by me. Another part of this is, finding my voice with my family and friends. Once I learned to listen to myself, I realized I also needed to speak up. For so long, I held in my emotions to keep the peace. I avoided hard conversations because I didn't want to rock the boat, But holding in my truth, it didn't protect the relationship. It actually poisoned those relationships. It really robbed those relationships. So I started talking to my family and friends gently, but honestly. I told my family how I felt. I started saying what I needed without guilt and without apology. And you know what? The world didn't fall apart. They didn't stop calling me. They didn't stop wanting to be in my life. In fact, my relationships became stronger. My voice brought healing. It brought understanding, and it actually brought me peace. Another thing that I had to do was I had to learn to take breaks and enjoy me time. These days, I make me time a non-negotiable for me. Like, it is a must, whether it's reading a book or taking a walk alone or just sitting in silence. I've learned that rest is not laziness. It's a necessity. Every woman deserves to pause, breathe, and reconnect with her own rhythm. Because when you take care of you, everything else just starts to align, perfectly align, actually. So what I would like to do, I want to give you 3 tips. So if you're a woman and you're over 50 and you're wondering how to find your voice again, here are 3 great tips to help you begin to find your voice. Spend some time in reflection. Again, it's tough. It was probably one of the toughest pieces for me, but spend some time in reflection. Sit with yourself, journal, meditate, take a walk. Just ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I need right now? Your voice is buried beneath all the noise. You need to give it space to speak. Number 2 is to just practice small acts of self-expression. Start by sharing your thoughts honestly in small ways with your friends, your partner, or even through creative outlets like writing. Or the more you speak your truth, the stronger your voice becomes. And number 3, create a sacred space. Say no when something does not align with your peace. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your energy. Boundaries are where your voice begins to grow. Sometimes you just have to say no. Finding your voice after 50, it isn't about becoming somebody new. It's about returning home to yourself. And it's a glorious feeling to welcome yourself again. If you're on that journey too, just know your voice has always been there. You just have to be still long enough to hear it again. Thank you for listening to me today and spending this time with me. This has been our me time today, actually, our me time moment. If this message resonates with you and you please, like and subscribe to this channel and definitely share it with another woman who you think would love this message today. And please, until next time, please take care of yourself and honor your voice.